hello to Jazzie Belle.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Jazzie Belle.
Welcome to Hollywood, baby.
You're my favorite interviewer so far.
You're blinded by the action. You need that.
I was auditioning for it and I didn't get the part. Ooh, child, speak about it.
I was like, oh, we about to
Blow up.
That is a great question. Nobody has ever asked me that.
And this is a story I don't even know if Martin knows.
You know what else is delicious? You two chemistry.
King is Richard Pryor,
You know.
and that's forever.
That's a very good question. My sister from Detroit.
You'll come out of here laughing, you come out of here inspired.
John Singleton believed in your script, Hustling for It, so much that he put up his house.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I wanted to get in there and bring my A game with me.
Welcome to Inside Hollywood with Jazzie Belle. This is going to be a good time. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Inside Hollywood. I'm your host, Jazzie Belle, and today we have an amazing show because we have an amazing guest. I am here with the executive producer, showrunner, writer on Starz' hit show, BMF, Randy Huggins. How are you, Randy?
I'm so fantastic. I'm so glad to be here with you.
Yes. Well, first and foremost, what up, though?
What up, though? Okay.
I have to say that because I'm a fellow Detroiter myself.
That's
So
what's up.
we have to get that out the way. With that being said, what part of town are you originally from?
I'm really a real Detroiter. I'm from the west side. I grew up on 8 Mile, but I was reared on the east side. So not many people from Detroit say that, raised west, reared east. So my life fluctuated between going on both parts of town. I think I'm a full-fledged Detroiter, not just a west side Detroiter or an east side Detroiter. I cover the whole thing.
I see it. Thank you for shouting out the east side because that's where I'm from. And you know, we get the bad rep around here.
No, it's all good. No, I grew up playing on the east side coach. My mother actually started the east side coach. So I learned how to play football, how to skate, how to dance, and how to fight on the east side. Everything else, sports, was on the west side. I mean, basketball is on the west side, but yeah, the east side is near and dear to my heart. I spent a substantial amount of my very young years over there. So yeah.
Nice. I love that. Learn how to fight. I heard that. Okay. Now, with that being said, shouting out Detroit, how amazing is it to be a part of telling this legendary story, BMF?
I mean, first of all, it's an honor and it's a privilege. So first of all, to tell a story about two of the most legendary urban Detroiters in the history of the United States. And they were from my hometown. So to be able to tell a story, about them and being a native Detroiter,
yeah,
it's the most special thing ever. And one of the things that I really tried to do more than anything was I really tried to make Detroit a character in this piece. You know what I mean? The same way Baltimore was a character in The Wire, the same way Los Angeles is a character in Snowfall, I really wanted to make Detroit a character because in Detroit, we have our own culture. I mean, we talk different. We dress different. We eat different things. We eat conies. We don't eat hot dogs. You know what I mean? We say, what up, though? We don't say, how's it going? We don't wear sneakers or tennis shoes. We wear gym shoes. You know what I mean? So, yeah, those things I thought were, I thought it was pertinent to bring that into, the realm of the show. And when I talked to Meech, the biggest thing Meech was about, Meech was like, man, you got to get the fashion right. If the fashion ain't right, it ain't our show. So hopefully people feel like I captured that era and this area of the country, which people don't often see a lot of.
Yeah, you definitely put a magnifying glass on the D in this region that we call the Midwest. So we appreciate that. Like I said, being a fellow Detroiter, one of the things that I love was seeing things that were so authentic to our city, like Better Made Chips, the jitting dance moves. I was like, oh my God, he really implemented that. It's like the first time I ever seen that on national television outside of like local Detroit stations. Meech said the minks, the glasses, the the gators, things.
Yeah, that's it.
That's Island. I mean, that was like, whoa. And the lingo was so on point. And I know you said Meech's thing was the fashion. He was very adamant about getting that right. What were you most excited about showing the world as it pertains to Detroit, your city?
I mean, also going back culturally, I think one of the biggest things that, you know, gets neglected is our music. You know what I mean? I think our music is special. And I'm not, you know, people when they think about music or Detroit, they think typically Motown or Eminem or Aretha. You know what I mean? Now, one of the things that I do want to do more of in going forward is I really want to put a bit more gospel music, specifically contemporary gospel music, which when we're talking musically and culturally, that really was, I won't say it was started here, but it propelled like R&B gospel, like the Winans, like the Clark sisters, like Fred Hammond, like all of that is Detroit around the age. I grew up in Greater Grace. So Fred Hammond sang in the choir, played on the drums. So, oh, you went to Greater Grace too?
My grandmother did, and my mom.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you something. My grandmom, her name is Sally. She made the rolls and the sweet potato pies at Greater Grace.
Wow, Greater Grace.
You already know about the rolls. You know what I mean? You already know. And she said Greater Grace rolls, and I used to help her bake. You know what I mean? So that's how I knew all of these people. But I definitely want to get more, and you know, I'm more excited into as we go forward, getting more into that aspect, the contemporary gospel, because it had never propelled to the level it did until without said artists that I mentioned, the Commission and Winans and BB and CC and all of those people. But also musically, what was the biggest thing for me really during that era was techno music. When you think about music today, like EDM is probably the biggest musical form out there. And they think EDM is derived from Europe, but it's not. It came from Detroit. It was 3 black dudes, the Belleville 3, Juan Atkins, Derek May, Kevin Saunderson. So, I mean, I put that in the show. I put Clear in the show. And, you know, when I used to talk to Meech and Terry, Meech was like, yo, Cosmic Cars was my joint. I threw it in the show. I'm like, let's go, Cybertron, let's go. So what's really dope for me is really, if you were of that age or you're from that area, is nostalgic for you. But if you're not, you're like, oh shit, what is that? And hopefully it'll make you go back and research what that is. Specifically, you know, this You Can't Stop the Rain. I can't believe how much this is taken off. I mean, it is unreal. And I'm like, and then I just saw Fabulous and Dave East cut this. It's a cold track. And I was like, man, somebody should give me a check, dude. Nobody was thinking about loose ends until I threw this in there. And the way in which that happened was fascinating because we were doing another scene and Eric Kofi Abreva, who, you know, stars as Lamar. Hey, listen, he can sing. And he was singing some Jodeci, and I didn't believe it. I was in the room like nodding off, like because we were in between on a break, and I heard somebody, and I walked in the room, and it was him, and I was like, "That's you? You singing?" And it's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Dude, I'm about to write. You about to lullaby somebody to sleep when you kill them." And that's literally how that scene happened. I heard him sing, and I went back and changed the scene and put You Can't Stop the Rain in there. And then to see it take off with all these memes, all these TikTok videos, it is absolutely amazing. But in 1986 in Detroit, that was the joint. You know what I mean?
Yes. So hearing him sing on set, singing Jodeci, made you rewrite? Was it like on the spot? Was you already shooting in that particular scene?
No, we weren't shooting that scene till tomorrow. But when I went home that night, I was like, oh yeah, this is it. And I called my music supervisor, Big Tank Derek Thornton. I was like, yo, dude, can you clear this for me? And he's like, absolutely. And that was one of the other dopest things I think about working on this particular show is that I think I'm smart in the sense that I've always hired people who are smarter than me in their specific craft. You know what I mean? And I listen to them and let them do them. So like when I speak about the music in this show, yeah, I'm talking about all of these groups, but you know, it was Big Tank cleared them for me. But then also, I don't even know if people pay attention to the score that's underneath all of our scenes. I got our music composer is Michelle Indigocello. You know what I mean? Like stop. So I try to tell people there's so many reasons why you like this show. You know what I mean? It's not just like, oh, Lamar is crazy. It's not, it's all these little bitty things that where like Michelle is pushing this mood that makes you feel this way. Like I just went upstairs and my aunt was like, And I haven't seen her since the show came on. She's like, I hate Lamar. And I was like, well, I guess we're doing our job because we want to make him the baddest villain on TV.
Yes, and he sure enough is. Thank you for sharing that, because that was definitely part of my questionnaire as far as who was the mastermind, the brains behind implementing You Can't Stop the Rain, Loose Ends record.
It was a track that, you know, I absolutely planned on implementing. And so it's like this whole show, it's a total team effort. You know, I mentioned it and then Tank took it and ran with it. Like, I mean, all of those, so like people don't even, I mean, go back to Rumors, you know what I mean? Like I remember watching episode 2, like with some Detroiters, and they was like, damn, I was like, hey man, this ain't no club, watch the show. But they was like, you know what I mean? That's like, so yeah, I think I love that, you know, people enjoy the show in that way. And again, it gives you a sense of nostalgia. It puts you in a place and a time, and hopefully connects you more with these characters.
It definitely does. Speaking of, I just feel like you're not new to this, you're true to this. So when you talk about writing and being a part of this amazing cast and crew, it's because you've been a part of this Power universe for a minute now. And I don't know if people know that. When I was doing my research to learn that, you know, you've written and written and, you know, showrunning and produced on Power from the beginning.
Yeah, I was part of the original writer staff on Power. And just to, you know, color that a little bit, I've been doing this 21 years. You know what I mean? Professionally for 15. So I don't want to sound cocky, but I feel like it's my time. I paid my dues. So, you know what I mean? Yeah, and I did feel, you know, first of all, with Meech's story, with their story alone is fire. But then me, with my years of experience, coupled with that story, adding that Detroit twist on it, like there's never been a show that highlighted Detroit this much. You know what I mean? So that's what was also interesting. It was like we were tapping into an untapped region. You know what I mean? You never heard techno on a TV show. You never heard Rick James like that. You know what I mean? Like you certainly never heard You Can't Stop the Rain in a killing scene. So I got some more stuff that we about to drop in episode 8 that I can't wait for Detroiters to hear, because, you know, our music was very different. And that's what I say in the episode. Like we had DJs, like seriously, we had The Wizard. You know what I mean? Which Meech and Terry used to ride to. They used to wait until 9 o'clock and then they get a beer, crack their beer and drive up the street just playing The Wizard. But we also had my personal favorite, Electrifying Mojo. I mean, Electrifying Mojo put me on more stuff that I had no clue. He's really responsible for turning me on to Prince, the B-52s. Like, so when I had the opportunity to incorporate that to show a little bit more about our musicology, I mean, I was totally stoked and ready to do it.
Oh, I love that. So how was it when this opportunity came about, the conversation between 50 and your son, he brought BMF to you? Tell me about that.
Yeah, that's some funny. I was about to curse, but that's some funny stuff. But like, you know, I worked with 50 a lot on Power. As a matter of fact, my best friend in life, his name is Kamen, and 50's character on Power is Kanan. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's a little tidbit there. But I used to write and work a lot with 50. And you know, I remember my last year on Power season 3, and you know, he came to me, he's like, yo, I got the BMF joint. Now I knew I was about to step away from Power. And I'm like, oh, he telling me this is about to be my next deal. Oh my God, we about to kill it. But he was just telling it to me. He didn't want me to do nothing with it. He had hired 2 other writers to do it. So, you know, I had to pick my job. And I was like, oh, congratulations, nice. So I left and I went and created my own show on BET with John Singleton called Rebel, which was dope because that was my mentor and my friend. And I got to work hand in hand and learn so much from him. And then, you know, I left there and I went and did I did The Quad, and then I did Star. You know what I mean? And when I was on Star, he called me and he's like, yo, you want to do BMF? I'm like, heck yes. You know what I mean? So then it was about 50 putting me in contact with Meech, and we used to talk on the phone every night. And then I went to see him in prison like 3 or 4 times, which was difficult because when you go see somebody in prison, it's not like they let you take a recorder. They don't even let you take a pen or a pad. So I would sit with him for 6 hours. He would be running down 6 hours worth of game, and I would run to my car and try to scribble down everything I could remember. You know what I mean? I mean, this whole stuff. Listen, I tell people the making of BMF is more exciting than actually, or just as exciting as the show. I don't want to say the more, but it's crazy. I mean, I was going to some shady spots in Detroit, some shady spots in Atlanta, just to get the information and tell this story. And you know, it is, it's a drama. It's not a documentary. So I am able to take my own dramatic license, you know, but it's all based on the stories that Meech told me.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I was looking at an interview, right? And 50 Cent said that you went through a whirlwind of emotions. And when you grew frustrated, you called him. So share with me the biggest roadblock you had, or what was your biggest frustration as far as creating this show and the process that made you be like, 50, I need you.
100%. 100%. Trying to shoot a show during a pandemic, pre-vaccination. So we were required to go to work and to go home. So you're taking Demetrius Flannery Jr., Da Vinci, Miles Truitt, Eric Kofi Abreva, Asiana Alexis. You're taking Miles Bullock, and you're putting all of them in Atlanta. You know what I mean? Where they getting paid, and you telling them you got to go home on a Friday. Like, you off work at 7, don't go out the house, don't go to no restaurants. You know what I mean? That was a challenge. How do you shoot this and get everybody to adhere to all the things? Look, it's a challenge with vaccines. Imagine doing it with no vaccines. And for the most part, what was so dope is, for the most part, we bought into it. You know what I mean? And so that was a little... That was like a little challenging, and sometimes you'd have to have him have some conversations to encourage people like, man, I need you to, and you can't even hang out amongst yourselves. That was even worse. So it was literally like, we would have to meet like this on Zoom. Like, we had a cast dinner. I sent everybody a meal and we ate it on Zoom like we're eating. I mean, that was god awful. I
could imagine.
You know, you got to wear a mask. I mean, obviously you got to do your personal hygiene, but just trying to manage over 250 people to make sure, I mean, getting tested 3 times a week with the Q-tip joint, like, that was the most challenging aspect of the show. Also challenging is trying to do a show about real life people. I mean, that's not the easiest thing to do. You know what I mean? Especially when these 2 people that I'm doing the show, their relationship is kind of estranged. You know what I mean? So obviously I have Meech, but I need to obviously tell a well-balanced story. So I had to talk to Terry, you know what I mean? And sometimes being in the middle of that wasn't, you know, it was the most interesting thing ever because it was never a dull day. But the thing that I love most is that both of those brothers encouraged me. They knew what we were after. And both of those dudes, for the most part, I believe, are very, very happy with what we came up with. And we're looking to even build on this and make it bigger in season 2. I mean, my word for season 2 is elevate. We're going to the next level.
Do you hope by telling these men's stories, and you said their relationship is a bit estranged, do you hope that this hasn't brought them closer together? Do you believe that? Or that it will?
I'm not sure that if it has or it hasn't. I mean, obviously, that would be nice if it does, but that's not necessarily my goal. My goal is to honor this story and to be as truthful and entertaining as I possibly can with this story, because it really isn't a story about, I mean, it's not a story about drug dealing. It's really a story about family, kinship, love, you know what I mean, and brotherhood, you know what I mean? So also it's a story, it's an American, the biggest thing about this show and this story is it's about the American dream. Everybody wants a slice of the American dream. And to me, the American dream simply means opportunity. We all want an opportunity. what better opportunity is there that whatever you may think about what Demetrius Flannery Jr. or Terry Flannery did, they've afforded his son this opportunity, this brand new career, somebody who has never acted before, never done this before. It gave him the opportunity at a whole new career that he's thriving in. I mean, you know what I mean? He's been casting Euphoria. He's got several movies. Now, if Big Meats wasn't Big Meats, I'm not sure his son would have been afforded that opportunity. So whatever you may think, it created an opportunity to make his son's life better. And Meats was all about, you know, and as you'll see, our series grows about growing from what they were and building into something bigger, which is why they started BMF Entertainment. I mean, what greater thing is it that whenever he gets out of prison, what if his son has started BMF Entertainment and it's 1,000% legit, and he puts his dad on? What more American dream is there than that?
Full circle moment. I love that.
No? Absolutely.
Now, before I let you go, we have to talk about the season finale that's coming up this weekend. King of Detroit. What can the fans expect? Because you wrote this episode as well, correct?
Yeah. And then so, you know, it's so dope. It's a really great, you know, reuniting between me and Tasha Smith, who directed this episode. She also directed the pilot and was an EP on our show. And what's really dope about this episode is that I owe Tasha so much for building out the look, the feel, and the tone of this show. So to have the opportunity to work with her again, I think your fans can expect to jump out of their damn seat, because we got some moments coming like that. I think they can expect to laugh their behinds off, because we got some moments like that. And I think they can expect to nod out, because you know we're going to have that music. Whether it's Teddy Pendergrass, Turn Out the Rain, whether it's You Can't Turn Off the Lights, whether it's You Can't Stop the Rain, whether it's Rumors, you know we about to throw an old school banger in there and a couple new tracks to really make you rock out. So I just think people are going to feel like it was a heck of a mic drop. This was a heck of a season, and I can't wait to tune in for season 2.
I love that. Love that. Now, before I let you go, you have men and women out there that would love to do what it is that you're doing today. Mm-hmm. What is the biggest advice you would give someone that's looking to get into the industry?
Well, I think the first thing you have to do is decide what you want to do. I mean, like, that sounds easier than said. But, you know, people are like, I want to act, I want to direct, I want to shoot, I want to, like, for me, this is my advice. Pick one lane, master that lane. Then I think it's easier to switch over. You know what I mean? I think sometimes it's hard to be a jack of all trades. You know what I mean? But master one. And then once you mastered that, I think it's easier to switch over. Once you've established I can write, now I can direct. You know what I mean? Now I can produce. Now, you know what? I want to star in my own show. And I will tell you this. There is a very special cameo in episode 8. And I don't know if your fans gonna be able to recognize it, but
what you mean?
It's a very, very special cameo. And shout out to
give me a
hint. This person from Detroit. You know what I mean? Big shout out. This person is from Detroit, 1980s all the way. You know what I mean? And they may be on the screenwriting.
On the screenwriting side as well?
Nah, I'm saying they looking at you right now. But I have a cameo. You were like, who could this be? Is it Jalen Rose? Is it who could this be? Yeah, you like, who is he putting in here? Nah, I did a cameo. I'm not gonna tell you or your fans what part. But you know what? The first person to text me who I am playing in this cameo, I'll send them a BMF piece of merchandise. And they can text me on my social media platforms. TV's Randy Huggins. TVS Randy Huggins. RANDYHUGGINS. And I'll send you something from BMF. First person after the episode airs to text me, Randy, you were. I got something for you.
So you're acting as this person. Is that what you just said?
You know what I'm doing? Yes, it's gonna be me. I'm in a role. But here's what it is. See, I can't tell you this piece of information, but I'm following in one of my mentors' footsteps. So, you know, it's a cameo. If you catch me, you catch me. If you don't, you're like, huh? But I think it's gonna be pretty cool.
Come on, EP, actor, showrunner, creator, writer.
I ain't taking that acting thing. That's a whole nother bug that I don't think I was born with, although my mother would probably think otherwise. But nah, you have to be a special person. And even when I was doing it, I had to concentrate, because you have to remember the camera's right here. And your natural instinct wants to say, can you see me? You know what I mean? You can't look in the camera, you gotta do your thing. So
I see you're Spike Lee on, I'll say.
Yeah, I gained so much respect for, I think everybody should do somebody else's job, because it gives you a greater appreciation for it. So if you're an actor, try to write something, and then you'll understand what it is to start with a blank page, like no one else. You know what I mean? If you're a director, you know, try to produce, and you'll understand why you can't get the thing that you want, because it costs too much money. But I think that's, in this business, that's an awesome thing that everybody should do. Try to do somebody else's job to give you a bit more empathy about the people that you work with.
I love that. So I'm going to be tuning in, and I'm going to be emailing you, DMing you, whatever, and let you know if I caught it. But the thing is, I don't want the BMF outfit or whatever, even though I would love it. But my last question for you is, how can I audition? I want to be a part of the show. My family is hitting me up like, you need to be a part of this show. This is your hometown. You love what you do. And I'm like, I'm working on it. So
I can see that. Where are you based?
I'm currently in Atlanta. I just moved here.
Oh, that's what's up. You're where you should be then, because George Pierre does our casting. Reach out to George. He's fantastic. Actually, our casting director is Kim Coleman, but our local casting director is George Pierre. And both of those, I mean, Kim, I owe her everything for our cast. I mean, for me, I think we had the best cast on TV by far, top to bottom. You know what I mean? And I think who, you know, comes with these creative guest starring roles. You know what I mean? And a lot of local talent in Atlanta is George Pierre. So again, I was reach out to him and stay in contact with him. And yeah, you'll have my information, so you can, you know, you can push and pull me on a couple of these, and we'll see what we can do. I'm gonna
send you my audition tape that I did for Monique. Shout out to Cash Doll. She did an amazing job.
Yeah, she killed that. That's my little sister. She killed that. And what was really interesting was that I really fought for her. You know what I mean? And I ain't really have to fight. I mean, I didn't even know who Cash Doll was. I mean, you know, it's a little bit of an age difference, but I was listening to Big Sean's album, and I heard Friday Night Cypher.
Yes.
Like, who is that? And I looked her up, and then I told Tasha, I want to try this audition, this chick Cash Doll. And Tasha like, that's my sister. And she called her immediately. It was like, here. And so she came, and you know, she auditioned, and she killed it. You know what I mean? Killed it.
I think you guys have the best show on television right now. I think you guys have an amazing cast, the best. All of the actors, the casting was on point. So shout out to Kim Coleman and George Pierre and everyone doing their job. And you, sir, we appreciate you for putting the city on the map once again, shedding light on the culture. I'm having such an amazing time watching all of this unfold. So with all that being said, if you can, sum it up in one word, the feeling that you feel right now. One word, not a phrase, not a sentence, one word. What would it be?
Overwhelmed a little bit. And I say that only because, like, what's really crazy is that, you know, I died to make this show in Detroit. You know what I mean? In Michigan, they lost their tax credit, so we couldn't shoot in Detroit. And then we had to go to Atlanta and shoot, but you know, we were still like, we have to be in Detroit. So we came to Detroit and shot 5 days here. And then when it premiered, I was like, we have to have a premiere in Detroit. And everybody's like, nah, Detroit, nobody wants to be in Detroit. They don't have no media outlets. They don't have whatever. But I fought, and we got it in Detroit. And I was doing this so that my mother could be there. And unfortunately, she wasn't able to be there. So like with all of this success, she's not able to partake in that. So yes, I appreciate all the love and all the accolades, but at times it's a little overwhelming to not have your biggest cheerleader there physically to check that out. So yeah, overwhelmed, but happy as hell. You know what I mean? Because I know if she was here, she would be smiling more brightly than I'm smiling at you right now.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that big smile. And just a little bit, your mother is here. She is smiling. She may not be here in the physical form, but she's definitely here.
Sorry, I thought I cut it off. Sorry.
It's okay. But she's definitely here in the spiritual form. So just know that she is shining down on you. And I'm sure that she's playing a huge part of all the blessings that you have right now and the blessings that you will get in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for saying that. I appreciate that.
You're so welcome, Randy. We will be in touch, my friend. Thank you so much for the interview. And I will talk to you soon. Absolutely.
Have a great day. Jazzie Belle.
Ooh, from the D.
All day. All day. Love it. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.